Everybody, welcome to the Silent Hill Ascension pre-show. I am Eduardo, joined here by Noah, and Noah's going to run us through essentially today's run of show. Our production team is going to throw that right on screen for all of you at home.
Yeah, so welcome everybody. We are now at our pre-show that shows on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 5:40 Pacific time PM. And then we have the show at 6 p.m. Pacific time on weekdays. And we are going to have, after the show today, we're going to have the interview with Natalie Odeon. And I'm very excited to see that again.
Yeah, Noah had a chance to sit down with design director Natalie Odeon, so that's a little bit of a surprise treat for all of you at home. Stick around in the post show, you won't want to miss it. She'll talk about the Hope System Endure streams, as well as something we know is really popular with a lot of you, the Arcane Library mindfulness puzzles. But in the meantime, you know this, Silent Hill Ascension is a socially interactive streaming series where all of you at home collectively shape and experience its ever-evolving story. You're going to collaborate and compete with others to try to make the choices you want to see. When the decision ends, the choice locks in as canon. That's the version of the show that everyone sees. It's a show that's shared. When you see the episodes again, whether that's now, whether that's a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, it's canon. It's done. Now, just to make sure we're up to speed, yesterday we had a little bit of a scene as, well, Eric memorializes Toby at the bar in a very peculiar way. We'll let you watch that.
I'm looking for Toby Sorelli. Have you seen him? I want to buy a round of drinks.
Excuse me? Hey, I need to say something. Next round's taken care of. Courtesy of Toby Sorelli. I'm pretty sure he's never coming back here, but he left a message for all of you. Go fuck yourselves.
Yeah, fuck him too. My cousin died because of that asshole.
Thanks for the drink. Can I return the favor?
Thought the Foundation looked down on drinking.
Never stopped me before.
I should get to work.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. If you hadn't had a chance to see it, you know, Eric basically going, go fuck yourselves. Epic line. But in the meantime, it's time for us to discuss the story so far. So our production team is going to throw Pennsylvania. And Noah, if you could walk us through what's been going on there.
And fuck you too, Eduardo. So far in Pennsylvania, we had Eric, as you saw, he got a final voicemail from his good friend Toby, may he rest in peace. And he asked him to fulfill his last request was to tell everybody else to fuck themselves. While looking for Faith, Rachel teams up with a stranger who calls her, her faith into question, which is a nice little pun here. And also Eric and as you saw, we had Eric memorializing Toby, rest in peace.
Yes, and that's why we're kind of, you know, the hats are in place really because we've come from essentially Toby's funeral. May rest in peace, by the way. This hat also going out to our good friend, BioGeek 93. Clearly, I mean, a really stellar performance, you know, before getting eaten by the dog. Which but you know, Noah, that was one of the few things about the scene, you know, with Eric at the bar was that, you know, basically told the bar again to go fuck themselves. But that was Toby's request. That was essentially the voicemail that was left. Eric was being a good friend, and the audience said, you know, that was categorically, by the way, that was a runaway decision. I think it was like 2/3 of the audience went, no, you know what? Eric should have Toby's back.
Right. And we are really seeing Eric come into his own now. Instead of being Rachel's lapdog, is slowly this lapdog is turning into a snarler. He's showing loyalty finally, a little bit a day late and dollar short. He's showing loyalty to his friend Toby, like, whoops, already after he died. But, still he respects his, and, that's such a gangster thing to ask somebody to, like, as your final dying wish is like, tell everybody that I hate them. I'm not gonna say it again. I know you want me to say it again, but I'm not gonna say it again, just for fun.
No, it's reasonable. We've said it a few times. We've gotten away with it. This is Friday night. Live. Well, we're not live from Pennsylvania exactly, but we were seeing it there. And by the way, no, I know one of the things for me especially is, what's the deal with Krista here?
Oh my God, I love me Krista. I loved her since the moment when Rachel was like, when Rachel picked Krista to do her ceremony, and Krista was like, I'm not trying to be mean here, but are you okay? That was so shady, and at that moment I became a Krista fan. And Krista now is doing my other favorite thing to do, which is trying to steal somebody's husband. And this is where last time I wore my hat, when I was trying to do the same thing. But I really stand with Krista, and I respect her plots.
No, for sure. She has an approach, right? She was with Toby at the doorstep. She's with Eric at the bar. Honestly, I respect her, but I wouldn't trust her.
Trust is a different thing altogether. Who talks about trust? But and she's quite beautiful, in my opinion. I don't know. Actually, everybody is quite attractive. I don't know. When are we gonna see representation for ugly people? That's what I'm asking.
That's the thing, right? You gotta just wait. But like, we have a lot of cameos in. I don't want to insult anybody. People make their own choices. Let's put it that way. That's the thing. Anyway, segue quickly, because I don't want to insult anyone in our audience, especially those that were lucky enough to be cameos in our show. Well, let's look at Norway. Let's move away from Pennsylvania. Let's do that segue where I go like, oh no, sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. But because we're moving to Norway, we're out of Pennsylvania. Our production team's throwing that on screen. And Noah, if you could let us know what's been going on in Norway.
I sure can, because that my boy Carl and Mette made out. He returned in the makeout. You all decided that he's gonna kiss back, and he sure did, until he got rooster blocked by his daughter Astrid. Astrid gave her eulogy at her mother Ingrid's funeral, and Carl watches over Orson, and he got lost. Ugh! Dad, Carl! And then Carl and Astrid continue to search for Orson, and it does seem kind of fruitless. And I don't know, Carl is being so useless, man. I don't know what to do anymore.
Well, it's a little bit tough, right? Like, Carl's wife died. And she wasn't exactly a piece of cake alive or dead. Because let's be honest, Astrid's still dealing with her after that. Because again, as Joy was dead, Ingrid is dead. The funeral's there, she's dead. That's clear. Again, she's dead. So
dead.
Yeah, Carl is just trying, I think, to make his best from like essentially what I believe is, it's a rough situation. He was taking care of Orson at the funeral, turned away for a second, and boop, gone.
I know, it's not really his fault. It's kind of like sometimes if you see like crime, I really like my crime shows, and it's just a split second. Watch your children. But also Orson was already sus to begin with, Like, I love how Orson is the kind of boy that would go to the child welfare lady and be like, bang, bang, you're dead. Like, oh God, he's doing such, that's embarrassing, And then you have to explain that he's actually not like, oh my God, poor Astrid. She can't catch a break from anyone in her family.
That's actually true. I said Carl was having a rough time, but Astrid's really the one who's having a rough time. Let's be honest. Like, still trying to go to work with what's going on here, still trying to deal with her dead mother, walking in on basically her dad and her like Mette there, like just just everything going wrong, and then her son basically goes missing, and that's not great. You saw those scenes. If you're in our audience, you got to see the scenes from the previous days. You saw they've been searching quite a while in the woods. It's not looking good. I don't know.
It's not looking good, and I don't know. Silent Hill has a history with children being creepy and bad things happening to them. So I'm nervous. It's not like, oh, Orson is just like, he got caught up in a whale and in a whale, not in a whale. But that would be interesting too. That did happen sometime in history, perhaps. But anyway, he gets caught in a well and like, oh, we'll get him out. Like, I think it's going to be something like a little bit worse than that, unfortunately. And I'm quite intrigued to see what it's going to be.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things, right? You're saying in Silent Hill, but it is a horror trope, right? Like children going missing is a big thing. And on the other side in Pennsylvania, we saw Rachel looking for Faith again. Great performance by BioGeek93 getting his face eaten up yesterday. But that was the thing, right? Like, on both sides, children have gone missing, things not looking so great. And we got to see where that happens, if they turn up, how they turn up, what's going on. But in the meantime, one of the big things with kind of what happened with Toby and, was essentially Toby's fate was towards redemption, but his hope was negative. So Noah, could you explain to us the concept of fate and hope that's so integral to Silent Hill Ascension?
Oh, you bet I can. So, the decisions and the endurance scenes and the puzzles, they all contribute to whether a character will face redemption, suffering, or damnation in the Silent Hill Ascension finale. And their fate is decided across the length of the season. And a character hope needs to be high enough for them to survive a crucial story moment. Now, I've said this before, but now with Toby, we really saw how that plays out. And so, the hope is really crucial here. It's not less important than the fate. It's not that everything works together in this as we work together collaboratively.
That's the one for sure. And you're right. Faith and hope aren't necessarily more or less important. They are just distinct. Essentially, the idea is that fate is coming from you, the audience, making decisions. So that's when you're calmer, you're taking your time, deciding where things should go. Whereas hope is a little bit more in the action. They're coming from the endure streams. It's coming from you doing the mindfulness puzzles. And by the way, don't miss again our interview with Natalie Odian, because she'll explain more about the hope system in the interview as well. Make sure you're properly up to speed so that if you want to save your favorite characters, you have a good chance to do so. You understand how to do so. She actually has a few hot tips. So do look forward to that for sure. But yeah, one of the things, by the way, I've noticed too is as Toby is gone, Toby's hope is dead. There's no more. It's zero. Dead people don't have hope. But Eric's hope has popped up, and that's the thing. If you like Eric, pay attention to that. Do it. The big thing as well for the big moments, the crucial moments. Pay attention if something says final fate. That was the hint for Toby. Obviously, it was the first time. We didn't want to spoil too much, but as a result, final fate meant the end there. So do pay very close attention if you see a decision in the future with final fate. Now, all that said, all of you at home have made some wonderful choices, horrible choices, many different choices and decisions. Actually, several dozen at this point. So what we're going to do is our production team's going to throw some of those choices up. Spoiler alert, a lot of the close decisions involve Toby, but I'll let Noah read through these if you could.
Yeah, so Toby was our fan favorite, and we did ask, there was a decision to be made. How will Toby respond to Joy's death, which was a fate decision, and y'all chose to attack the Foundation, which was the domination option, and we all saw that. And then also we had, what will Toby do for the severing ritual, which was the final fate, and y'all chose that he would sacrifice himself, which is the redemption path here. And also one a little bit lighter decision that we had was, where will Carl have Meta sleep? And y'all said at his farmhouse. And this is why we got our scandalo moment, because y'all knew what's gonna happen when she's gonna stay at that farm.
Yeah, I mean, that was part of the fun. For sure, one of the more lighthearted decisions, but we have fun with it too here with the hosted show team, in our pre-shows or post-shows. But The big one here for sure was the contention around Toby. So those two decisions, by the way, the one where Toby attacks the Foundation, that was the key scene with the Molotov cocktail being thrown, as well as the one where essentially Toby sacrifices himself just before his end. That was one of the things there that was really important, by the way, is how close those were. Both of those were neck and neck, literally going into the scene within the minutes. Like actually Toby sacrificing himself, like throughout the day, it was like between that and Toby kind of turning it on Rachel, and those two decisions were like kind of going neck and neck. The one where Toby's attacking the Foundation was also super close, and that's the thing, by the way, is you at home like seem to be going really between redemption and damnation. You've done suffering a few times, especially when you just want to send a message. I thought the suffering option where you had Astrid essentially talk to her mother and basically ask her to apologize. That was a great audience choice, one of my favorites so far. But really, there's been a lot of, so to speak, tug of war between redemption and damnation in these first couple of weeks, Noah.
Right. And by the way, am I correct to say that most of the suffering decisions were on Norway?
There weren't that many. I think that was one of them. Yeah, the other one that was close would have been.
It was the scientist, the hunter doll.
Yeah, but that was not a fate one. But we also had the moment where you essentially had the choice between Rachel or Krista as the mentor, and that was also quite close. It wasn't super close, but there were a lot of people who wanted Krista essentially there as the mentor, and she's a character that keeps coming back, so it's kind of an intriguing one to me again.
Right. I love my conniving Krista. And I'm really looking forward to see where that drink goes, by the way, that they're having together. She's already being cheeky, having a drink when she's not supposed to, because she's supposed to be a good Foundation member. But, and then you wonder why she has that tension with Xavier. Like, she's raunchy. I don't know. Like, of course, she's not like buttoned up like Rachel, and that's not for everybody's liking. But I'm so curious to see like what decisions we're gonna have to make, because I have a feeling that we're gonna have to make decisions regarding these two soon. I actually do not remember if we are. So I can't.
No, you're saying you don't remember. That's fair.
I really don't remember, so I'm not spoiling anything. That's for sure. Like if I'm spoiling anything, it's from the figment of my imagination. But by the way, we are getting close to show. We're about 2.5 minutes away. So Eduardo, could you please recap for us?
Of course, and the show is not going to be a figment of your imagination. You're going to enjoy it at home. It's coming up soon. So the thing is, things are essentially, again, setting up. We had Toby Sorelli's death. That was a really key moment in our narrative that happened on Monday. As a result, we're kind of in the aftermath. The children are missing. So you can tell that things are building up again. But it's going to take some time. You're going to enjoy the story as it builds up again. Today's scene, actually, we might have hinted at actually by accident, because I got a sneak preview. And based on what Noah wants to see, you might enjoy it. But don't worry, it's going to be in just a bit. Now that said, after the show, we will be back for the post show. That's going to have an interview with our guest, Natalie Odeon. So Noah had a chance to sit down with Natalie, and she'll go through essentially the Endure streams, the Hope system, the puzzles, and you don't want to miss it, because there's actually a lot of little cool facets to that interview that I really enjoyed watching. So for now, what we're going to do, we're a minute away. Great time for you to grab a glass of water, your favorite drink, a snack, and enjoy the show that's about to start. We'll see you after.